Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Aneste Kaller-Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, everything good. Let me check here if everything is recording. Yeah, it should be.
Okay. So I don't need to wear earphones. You tell me how you hear me.
Yeah, a bit in the background.
Okay. Then just let me search some earphones. Sorry, here I am. Okay, so let's see. Here. And here.
Yeah,
Is it better?
Yeah, it's much better because
Perfect.
then it sounds like you're sort in the background, but you know.
Okay, perfect.
That's better. Where are you located, Diana?
I'm living in Switzerland, in Geneva.
In Geneva, I've been there. Oh, it's so
Really?
lovely. Yeah,
Oh.
Lake Geneva. I love it.
Yes. So how it comes, you can hear.
It was a long time. It was a friend of my mom, and we and the people there. They had a girl in my age, but I was, I don't know, around 10 or whatever. It's long time ago, but I still remember it so beautiful.
Wow, nice. Okay, so I'm living there.
Oh, wonderful. So Bianchi is sounds so Italian, right?
Yes, my husband is Italian, so his name is Bianchi. Yes.
Ah, that's why I wonder. I say, that sounds so Italian. I love it.
Yes.
So you're living there both together, but it's
Yes.
French speaking, right?
Yes, it's a French speaking. So he's born here.
Okay.
He's speaking yet Italian in his family, but we all speak French here.
Oh, okay, great. So let me just introduce you shortly to my listeners, and then we're gonna step right into it. I'm so curious because this is a topic I myself did a lot of research and work on myself.
Okay, so just the the problem with this kind of scheduling well before the appointment is that I forget what I told you, so I don't know precisely what we're going to speak about.
Well, I will mention your website and then the Akashic record readings to find out what the soul is about, and then you wanted to ask me what are Akashic records, how does this work, and how do you work with it, and the energetic profile.
Perfect. Okay, so I get it. Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Fly Nation, today's guest with me here is Diana Bianchi, and she's located in Geneva, in Switzerland. And we'll explore today all about the Akashic recordings. She's a specialist on this field, and she will tell us how this works and what we can get from it, and how does it serve us. So her website is intuitivecoachingonline.com. So you providing that to your customers, Diana. And originally you're a physician, but you didn't work on that, right? So you tended to the Akashic recordings and trainings and readings.
So I'm a physicist, and I am still teaching physics in high school here in Geneva.
Okay.
So hello, everyone. Yes, so I think I will keep my physics job aside all my life. It's very complementary with the Akashic Records reading.
It is, because I didn't see how this works together. So,
well, it's funny you say this, because I'm in the process of finishing a chapter in a collective book, and it's kind of a very biographical, sorry for my English, book. And what I'm exploring there is how, from my childhood, I've always loved getting with my mind very close to the limits of the science and what the mind can explain. And then have this feeling of, oh my God, and there, what's next? Because we don't know what's next.
Yes, exactly.
So science and physics can explain just until there, and then what's next? But you have to know science to have this feeling of dizziness of what's next. So I love being just the limit between both. So it's like physics and metaphysics. If you don't know physics, it's, for me at least, it's less enjoyable. So I love having both sides, and I've always seen in physics not just a boring set of laws and engineering stuff. I've always seen a science who helps us understand how universe work. And the beautiful thing is that Akashic Records helped me get a step forward in this questioning I had from the beginning. So what's next? What's next? So, but I still need the both sides. So I need staying anchored in physics and science. And of course, I think I am not a researcher, so I'm a teacher. So I will just learn more and more how to explain basic physics to my kids. Well, they have almost 20 years old, but I call them kids. But at the other side, what I call my spiritual path, I'm going through using a spiritual tool, which is Akashic Records. This one, I think it's just kind of an infinite path. So
it's gorgeous.
So I will have an entire life to explore in metaphysics using Akashic Records and probably other tools. I'm not just keeping me only on this tool, but this one is the one I want to use it as my transformational tool for myself and my clients. And then I can add other things, but this one will be the main one I'm using.
Oh, I understand, because I didn't see the correlation between it. So you're doing Akashic record readings, and the purpose is to find out more about yourself and about the soul, and to express it, right?
Well, so this is the way I love using it, like kind of a self-introspection tool. And so it's kind of looking inside ourselves so that we can be better outside. So it's a tool for a better self-expression. But if you ask someone else, they will tell you it's a perfect tool for manifestation, because once you learn how to express yourself, then we become the perfect manifester we all are. But then we learn how to consciously manifest what we really want.
And not the wrong things.
Yeah, so now then you come from a place where you understand that some desires we have are not so aligned with who we are. So that will be one of the phases to come towards. And then you'll understand who you are, and then you'll learn how to express your own energies. And then slowly, it's a process. It's not something like a magical wand. It's a process where you learn how to be more and more yourself, and how to get into this manifestation process without even knowing it. And sometimes it's literally happening, like in 1 week things are happening for you and you don't know why, and then you realize, oh, I've been very aligned with who I am.
We all know this feeling, right? So so in the flow and everything is just going smooth, and then times come, we say, oh my gosh, yeah, that I don't deserve it, and that shouldn't happen, and whatever. But it's, of course, a judging of ourselves, right?
Yes. So the process that I'm using, so I'm not the creator of this modality I'm using, but I've been studying it. So it's a wonderful teacher living in America. Her name is Andrea Hess, and she did a very extensive modality about how to use Akashic records in a way which is a very down-to-earth way. I know that many people go to the Akashic records, and then I'll say some words about what Akashic records are.
Yes, please.
But just about the method itself. So a lot of people are using it in a very dreamy way, like they are going, and then they have very open questions, and it's like, I mean, for this you can use tarot and oracles, and they are perfect.
Yeah.
So you don't need Akashic records for this way of using them. And then the modality I've been trained into is much more like having a set of questions, like when you go and do a psychological assessment about yourself, and then you have a lot of answers coming towards you, and they are very pragmatic. You know a lot of things, and you know what kind of decision you should take or not take. But before going there, just coming back to what Akashic records are. So the and how I came to it, by the way, it's because I've done in a yoga class, I've learned a very small ritual that we can do in the morning of cleansing the 5 elements, which are the basic philosophy in the Hindu philosophy, which are, you know, like in so many ancient and old traditions, fire, earth, air, water. And I, as a physicist, I was very sensitive to this, like, oh, it's a four stages of the matter: solid, liquid, gas, and what I forgot, plasma. Yes, fire, it's plasma. And then they have also the 5th element, which is the space containing all the matter. And this 5th element is called Akasha. So the Akashic records are coming from this old Sanskrit word, Akasha, which is not only an empty space, but it's a space filled with all the information of everything has been, is, or will be. And then the nice part was that doing a class about quantum mechanics with my students, we were exploring kind of, well, different things. And we are exploring the concept of quantum vacuum, which physicists put in place in their most modern physics. And it was so close to the notion of Akasha. I mean, it's the vacuum. Normally you could say, well, it's vacuum, there is nothing there. But the quantum vacuum, it's a nothing there filled with information of everything. And as long as you don't give enough energy to this information so that the information can incarnate into matter, if I can say this, then it stays at the information level. This is the basic, the most fundamental state of everything, the information level. And then you have to give energy to have a quantum leap and to achieve at least the first level of existence into the matter. So I was, oh, this is so interesting. So for me, Akasha was a very philosophical way of explaining what physicists have come to in their most modern models, which is quantum vacuum. Very useful in a lot of things they're explaining with.
Okay.
So I said, oh, this is so interesting. So two very old and very new notions that bridges together. And then I was wondering how the New Age movement took advantage of this. How did they created a way of connecting to these Akashic records? And basically it's so much more simpler than we can think. It's not like I have to be a medium or I have to be a psychic, because I'm not. Literally, I'm not. I've never thought about myself being one. But it's something that we all naturally have. We can learn how to connect and then trust the feeling of, if I ask a question, being connected to this field of information, which we call it Akash, the information I'm getting is coming from there and not from my own invention. And because I'm still very skeptical, because I have my scientific background, I needed almost 1 year to really believe it myself. Then after having done hundreds of practice clients readings, I mean, I had all my friends and friends of my friends and friends of my friends, my friends who were curious. I was so enthusiastic about this that everyone was like, oh, I want to test it. I want to try it. And then they were all like people I never met. And they were, how do you know everything about me? It's like you've known me since my childhood. How do you know this? And then I was, because it's working. I'm literally downloading information about you.
Yes.
And so it's accurate. And after 1 year, I was, you know what? That's beautiful. I want to do this more. And now, because I know myself, and this is coming also from my own reading about myself, I'm someone who is very enthusiastic about new things, and I love learning new things. But I have the tendency, and it's not a bad one. I mean, this is perfect for my soul. I need always learning new things. It's the way that my soul is learning more things about itself, is by having different hobbies and different things.
And we are almost the same in this case. So I'm always saying I'm a knowledge junkie. I always want to know more and other things. And
so in many cases, it's coming from our own energetic soul constitutions. And I literally been so relieved to find out that this is okay. We have to take advantage and to understand what that means for us. It means we learn through our learning processes and hobbies. But what I wanted is not to give it away at one point. I wanted to make me stay there, stay on my tracks and keep going deeper and deeper. And to do this, I had to ignite in myself the accountability feeling. And then I told myself that working with people will be perfect, because you have both the joy of helping others, making others feel how enjoyable it is to see themselves through these new lenses from their soul perspective. And then their joy is reflected back towards me. It's making me stay focused and enthusiastic about this method and modality. And that's how I started. Like, I think that's 3 years ago. I said to myself, I will build an online presence, because there is a difference between the French philosophy and the English one. So I don't know, I felt like the French were less open towards this and the English one. So I started doing it in English, and obviously the language was a barrier. So the first year was more about seeing what's happening online and how I'm going with my English and building slowly. And then, so I'm pretty much enjoying right now the process, whereas I've suffered during the first 2 years, mainly because and if you have in your audience people who are starting off, it's something that it's so close to myself right now. It's when you start online, you hear so many things about how you should do things, and
even overwhelming.
Yes, and even though I'm the first one to say that I can help finding out an inner guidance system, because I know who you are and what you should listen to, because don't listen to everything because it's not a good match with who you are. But even though I know how to do this, I felt into the trap myself. And the first trap, which is I don't think everyone is thinking about, is thinking that if someone has struggled during 7 years and then they found a system and then they tell you, I don't want you struggle 7 years. Listen to me. I will teach you what I've learned, and then it will be easier for you. And it's coming from such a beautiful sense of, I'm going to help you, that you say, yeah, of course, be my mentor, help me. And what they forget is that you can't teach experience to people. So you need to experience things. You can transmit information, but you can't transmit your experience. And people, then they are led, and this is the overwhelming feeling you are having in the online arena, is that you have this feeling of urgency of choosing your right mentor, with which you have that perfect transition, and like a magic wand, you'll become and it's not true. If you're starting, well, you'll have to experience things. Nobody will experience things in your place.
Right. I totally agree, Diana, because that would be the small child, right? We tell him don't touch the oven, but yeah, we know it, right? But still, small children touch it, right? Because they need to make the experience.
Their own experience, and it's exactly this. And it's so funny you've had this image, because I had this insight and this and I dropped off my guilt immediately afterwards when I've seen on Facebook a beautiful video with a baby elephant running all over the place after a butterfly, after it was a duck, I think he was running afterwards, and then he was just climbing on a small branch, and he was always changing the focus. And it was so close to what we see on internet, and it's so much shame put on them. You know, the entrepreneurs. Everyone is speaking about the entrepreneurs. They want to become entrepreneurs, but look what they do. They do this and then this and then this, and then they don't say
everything and nothing. Yeah.
Yes, and there's so much shame and guilt and everything put on those poor shoulders of our dear entrepreneurs. And for me, well, there are baby elephants. And that's how a baby elephant is learning. He's having, obviously he's attracted by this and then by this, and he's enthusiastic, and this is joyful, and this is in his nature of being a baby. And we are baby entrepreneurs at the beginning, and we need this stage. So,
but doing everything and trying everything, of course, doesn't lead to a solid business.
Nope, but this is the first phase. And so if we are complete new beginners, we need to go, we can't accelerate this phase. I mean, we have just to, you spoke about the children, they have to touch the fire and the oven. They have to taste everything. They will not stay very focused on everything. And it's okay, but they will taste a little bit. And then they will have a kind of knowledge, even if it's superficial. And without even knowing, there will be one point when they will be ready. And so I remember I was very guilty during those 2 years, because my business wasn't just taking off. And I was, well, what's happening? I'm having the spiritual tool. I know who I am. I know what I should be doing and why it's not happening, where I'm not aligned. And so it's not a question of being aligned. It's a question of gathering the tools you need and the experience you need. It's like knowing who you are is like knowing that you're an instrument tuned in this note, but then creating your business is creating a song. It's not the same thing. You need to understand, even if you know what instrument you are, you need still to practice and create something. And this takes time. I mean, we are really needing time. Mm.
But Diana, how do you work through it? So could you give us an example
Okay.
at my person now?
Yeah. So the readings are always prepared before the session because it's something we can do at distance. So all I need is to know the name, the place of birth, and the date of birth, so that I can connect specifically to the person's records. And then I have several readings different, and then it's going following the person's needs and desires. But the first one I'm always beginning with is creating the energetic profile of the person. And then we will find out which are the main energetic ingredients we have in our souls. And then it's not an abstract thing. Then we'll find out, for example, that some of us are made with an energy that makes us need to speak. We transport energy towards our words. And then, of course, if it's a business owner, I will tell that person, then use your words, right? And very often those person knows already. It's not something that I'm telling them, oh, really, I'm like this. But what they discover is that they have something special. Everyone is writing every time. But the people who have this kind of energy will have like a hypnotic energy in their words. So they really need to put an emphasis on this. And what they learn also is that because they have such a great power transported with the words, maybe they will have to drop the system of working in Instagram or Pinterest where they put pictures, because pictures is nothing about words. They will have to focus more on words, maybe becoming a speaker, maybe becoming someone who's making podcasts, for example. And so that's something I'm putting together myself right now, because I had this energy. So speaking and having energy in my words. So it gives more kind of, I'm highlighting the most important things a person should know about herself and then focusing there.
Right.
And later on, what we can do when they've mastered what that means, having this most abundant energy, we can go even further and see what we call the soul matrix. So what is all the soul's ingredients? And then they will find out that some of the ingredients are really very, very tiny. And so they can say, okay, let's stop trying to use and amplify those ingredients, because, and again, and I'm taking myself as an example, my tiniest ingredient I have is around building things. So me trying to create products or physical things, no way. And I know I can spend hours. Me having to create a Word document or a website or a leads page, I mean, I can stay a month on it and still cannot make it. It's creating something. I have a bunch of ideas, thousands of ideas about content and things, but then creating the thing itself, it's not for me. So I know I'll hire a VA because that will help me.
Right. So I totally understand. So it's all about finding what we like, right? So that we have that in common. That's what Freestyle Your Life is, to find what you love, what you like, right? And to do more of that, because that makes you happier.
Yes.
To improve the negativity, but to do more where your strength is, right?
Yes,
to improve
exactly.
the genius zone and to zone of genius to work there, right? So for me, it is taxes or technical things. I just don't like it, and I'm bad at it, and it's just not for me, right? I could talk forever, but doing the taxes or the technical stuff, it's totally boring. It's annoying me. I just don't want to do it, right? And that's why I'm bad at it.
Yeah, so it's more than liking. So that's the fun part, I think, myself. That's the spiritual part. It's knowing that you're, and by the way, it's so funny you said zone of genius, because my first business coach I had was telling me, oh, you know what, telling people that you're working with energy and with Akashic records, that could repel some of them. So please don't speak about that. You should speak about using neutral work. And it was a marketing person, a messaging person. So she helped me carve out putting things like, you help people find out their zone of genius, which is basically what you have said. But now I'm owning my spiritual side. And no, it's not only a zone of genius. It's literally expressing your most abundant energies. It's an energetic phenomenon. When you come up with actions aligned with your energetic abundance, then you attract abundance. It's kind of putting you in a resonance place.
Yeah.
So it's more than liking, because, you know, when we are kids, we can learn from our parents we love or friends we love that they enjoy this. We can learn to enjoy this because, and it's likable. We like it. We love it.
Yeah.
And it's not our most abundant energy.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. So from my perspective, there is something more than just we love it. Sometimes we love it because it's really aligned with who we are, but it's not an enough indicator that we are really using our energies. It's sometimes we can be deceived by our feelings because we've been taught to.
Yeah. Really. Okay. So you then you have my name and my place of birth and my date, and then
so I prepare the reading before, then we have a meeting, and then I will speak to you during an hour, even more. It's between 1 hour and 1 hour and quart, and so I will overwhelm you with very insightful information. And usually what is happening at the end is that you have a shift in your way of seeing things. It's like kind of, so it's not that I like, or it's easier, or it kind of comes with recognition of, this is me learning to express my true inner self, beyond my education, beyond my culture, beyond who I really am. The word we're using in this modality, it's a pretty esoteric term, is the way our souls have been made at the moment of origination, before getting to be incarnated and then learning through the difficulties of our life that it's better not to do this because we've touched the organ, then do it.
But that's all what we took on, right? It's
yes,
our origin.
Exactly. And before trying to avoid certain things, and by avoiding them, then we avoid expressing who we really are. So it's coming back to a sort of total, it sounds weird, total authenticity about ourselves. And the most quick thing that will come afterwards, because this one is quick, is to finally have the sense of, my life has purpose right now. I know so many people asking me, what's my life purpose? And this is a very spiritual question out there. And it's very funny because once you hear who you are energetically, and once you go through this process, you feel so like, I've done it. I know my life purpose is to express myself as I am. And you don't search for something else. And for example, just to give myself an example, I've been very lucky to have parents very passionate about their job. So they are physicists, both of them. And all my childhood, I've seen my dad, my mom, extremely passionate about their research in physics. And when I started doing my work, so I've done physics also, but I wasn't as passionate as they were. And I was feeling very guilty about, like, I've been used. My model was to have parents passionate about their job. So I've searched for years, for 15 years, an area in which I could be as passionate as they were. And I was feeling without purpose until then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried, for example, I've worked in the computer field, and I was very miserable. I was so miserable. I've worked 7 years. And at one point I told my husband, I have to resign. I'm feeling like dried from inside. I didn't know why. And so then I started something else, and then I became a teacher, and everyone asked me, well, are you happy as a teacher? And I said, you know what? It's not a passionate job, but weirdly enough, I'm very good with it. And then I've done my reading years afterwards, and I realized why. Because in my computer work, I was stuck in front of a screen with zero contact with everyone, almost. And it was at the opposite of all my energetic soul had asked me to do. And then when I started teaching, my soul's energies are all about teaching. I was like kind of touching all my soul's energy and letting them express. But it was by accident. It was through trial and error.
Right.
It was not on purpose. It just happened. And by the way, I didn't choose to become a teacher. It happened that I've done a second set of studies in history, and I was so happy with it that I wanted to make a PhD in history, and I had to have some money in between. So I told myself, I'll teach 50% partial time, and then I'll do my PhD meanwhile. And that's how I become a teacher. It was not something I wanted to. And then once I've been a teacher, completely not consciously, I was, well, this is nice. I love teaching. I'll just stay as a teacher. I didn't even have the need of going back into research. It was okay to be just a teacher, quote unquote, just a teacher. And I've understood it why afterwards. I understood why I was miserable before. I understood why I was so fulfilled afterwards. This sense of purpose. I thought it was going to come from my job, but it came from me expressing my energies. And this is very powerful. And this is happening almost instantly after the first reading. Because people feel recognized. Oh, yes, that's what I should do and focus on. And they
go in the right direction.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we know it, right? But we just feel it if what we are doing or what comes to our mind to do is the right thing for us, right? So, for example, me being stuck in front of the screen, that's killing me.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm an outdoor freak. I need to move, and they are getting back pain and everything if I sit here all day, and it's boring me. So I'm good when I'm all over the place, right? So coordinating things, I'm great at that.
Yes.
But I'm bad at doing one task for the whole day.
Yes. But the thing is, we cannot generalize this. For example, my colleagues I had when I worked in the computer field were very surprised when I had some small moments so I was developing a software, and I had to go with my software and teaching my clients how to use it and implement it into their business. And they were like, oh, Diana, how do you do that? It's so awful, awful. It's going and speaking with a client. I'm so anxious only about the idea of doing this. And I was like, really? This is what I like most. Like, it's the only moment when I'm feeling alive. I was teaching my client how to use the software. I was listening to his needs. I was speaking, exchanging, being in a relationship with someone. And that's all my soul is striving for, teaching and being in a relationship. So without knowing, even in my job, I had some pieces that if I knew at that age, I would focus myself on them. I could have become a very good informatics consultant, which goes to the client and then understand the needs. And then because I had the background of computer science, I could translate these to other guys who they hate these because they're so not made for doing that. So I could translate to them, well, the clients need this, and I will very happily go back and then speak. So I could turn in this world of computer field, being very happy and fulfilled and abundant. But I didn't have all this information about myself, and I was so bored with this work that I just resigned and get out from it. So it's a pity. If I knew I know now.
It's totally, and of course afterwards we always know better, right?
Yes.
That's the case. But the takeaway here in this talk is really what we can find out about ourselves, right? And to find things when we feel alive is a good expression.
Yes.
And what we love the most, and then do more of it. And we can use Akashic reading as just a modality and Thanks for listening in. I hope you got new inspiration to seek help and surrender to love no matter what situation you're in. Hopefully you could take away that transformation is possible. By getting the right support, you can embrace life joyfully and enjoy your life on your own authentic terms. Please rate and review the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast if you like today's talk, and make sure you qualify for the amazing I Love to Fly podcast giveaway by subscribing and referring 3 friends to the Freestyle Your Life podcast. All experts and myself are happy to assist and support you. Just reach out to us. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to tune in next Thursday and listen in to your next inspiration on how to freestyle your life. You will learn another priceless shortcut on how to break free and restyle your life on your own authentic terms. Becoming authentically you will ease your life and business. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Looking forward to talk to you next Thursday. Bye.